Sacred union. I would speak with you now of a topic which is near and dear to my heart. I would speak with you about love. I would speak with you first about human love, which is most wonderful. You find that love in the friendship. You find that love in the relationships which you make on a committed level. I would also speak with you about divine love, about sacred union. You have much which has been coming up in many of your books, even in some of the videos and movies. Much which is coming up that would suggest that I had relationships with women, and I did. I knew woman. I knew Mary Magdalene very well. She was my wife. It was commonly accepted in that time that as a rabbi I would be married. If in those times I would be rabbi and not married, it would have been something unusual. Truly I was married, and truly they were children. You have books now which have been teasing the mind, asking questions as to, what do you believe about one Jesus, one Jeshua's life? You have been finding resonance within yourself with certain truths as they have been spoken to you or written about, and you have been finding a resonance of saying, yes, that does make sense to me, I believe that. Of course, how would he come and relate to us as a human if he did not know all of human life? Good question to ask, for indeed I did come as you have come many times to know human life, to know human relationship, to know human challenges, and to remember, as you have been doing, what it means to be humanly divine and divinely human. So there has been much which has been coming to light about relationships and about my relationship. I will say unto you that it takes nothing away from my message. In truth, it adds everything to my message. However, it has been written in what you have compiled as the Holy Scriptures, and has been commonly accepted, that I was the very Son of God, and that to know woman and to have family would be sinful. But you have wondered in some lifetimes when you have been taught that because you were married and you knew the mate, and you had children, that you were sinful. And yet, when you looked upon the newborn, you asked, what is sinful about this? What can be sinful about the newborn and the process of bringing forth the newborn? So you have a time now when you are contemplating much of what it means to be in love and what love is all about. Love truly is your nature. It is expansive. We have spoken of this many times, that as you know human love, you know an expansion that goes beyond self. You lose yourself in the love with another one. For a moment or so or longer, you are able to step into another one's sandal and be inside of them. You lose all sense of small self in the love which you have with them. Divine love is even more than that. Human love is as a pointer, a signpost perhaps, which points in the direction of what divine love is. And you are divine love expressing even within the focus of the specificity of individuality, that which you have chosen as your individual expression. You are divine love. You are expansive, and you are expanding all the time. The one mind is forever creating, forever expanding, forever expressing, and will continue to expand even beyond the concept of time to know itself. You are forever creating. There's much that is coming to the forefront of your questioning as to relationship and what it means to be in relationship with others. And I would say to you that truly you have many in your society in this day and time, as was true in the time when I walked the Holy Mother Earth, who are pushing the envelope, as it is called, pushing the boundaries. You have much which is now of controversial nature, and yet it is of divine nature, where ones who are activating the same gender body are finding love with another one, and wanting to have that expression sanctified by society, ones who are saying, look, we have deep love, the same as the man-woman, woman-man relationship. We have deep love for each other, and we want that acknowledgement. I will say unto you that those voices will not be stilled until there is a realization of the love which has bound them together, the same as with man and woman. Ones are expressing love to each other in ways that the Church, the Holy Fathers, did not sanctify, and yet love goes beyond what the arbitrary rules of society or culture would dictate. You have many of the ones in this day and time who are standing up for the love which they feel for another beyond appearance, coming from the place of the heart to be his teachers, not allowing the voice to be silent any longer, but coming forth and saying, love is love, and I love my partner. As you have acknowledged that you have lived many lifetimes, you have activated many forms of life, and you have activated the male gender form, you have activated the female gender form, and in some lifetimes you have been attracted very much to one of the same gender, and you found ways to be with that one as would be accepted by culture. Now ones are coming to a place where they are pushing out the boundaries of what present culture has said should be or has to be. The Holy Fathers of the Church selected the writings which you have in your Holy Scripture, and they selected the writings according to what they felt would be the best for the continuance of their belief. Since there is usually no issue of progeny from ones of same gender, it would seem to be favorable that you have male-female marriage union, so that there could be the offspring, more and more of the offspring, who would then be servants of the Church, either direct servants or the ones who would give of their tithe, etc. So it was seen to be beneficial for the continuance of the establishment that what would be favored would be the marriage between man and woman. But as you have in your own thinking come to discern, love cannot be limited to just one form. Many now are having the courage to stand up and to voice the love which is in their hearts, and to bring that forth so that other ones can see that they are a family as well. Many of the ones who are visible in your certain gatherings do have families. They are the same gender, and they are making a family unit. They are pushing out the boundaries of what has been for a long time accepted as being the only way that God would look upon favor with marriage. But sacred union, marriage, happens whenever there is love. It matters not the form of the body. What matters is in the heart. For out of the heart comes the issue of life, the emotions, the love, the caring, the sharing. So I say unto you that sacred union is to be found from heart to heart, not body to body. Bodies are temporary. Love is always. The love which one feels for another does not cease when the body is released. The love is stored in what you know as the Akashic records. That love is always there, part of the divine mind, part of the divine being that you are and will always be there. Bodies come and go, but not the love relationships. The more that you open up the heart to love, the more the love will be understood, felt, recognized, expressed, and experienced. But I say unto you that which you have already been coming to discern yourself, for you are ones who are of allowing minds. You are ones who have been challenged sometimes by the family members or friends who would be speaking out from a place that is a bit different than what society would say. And now you have found yourself having to examine issues which you have taken for granted many lifetimes. Now you have come to a place of allowance, and you have said, well, what is right for one, if they find love in that relationship, so be it. So I speak to you of something which you have truly already discerned, but I would take it to a step further. I would say that sacred union, marriage if you will, does not have to be with paperwork. It does not have to be condoned, sanctified by society or by culture. It is in truth the place where you come to acknowledge the sacredness of self and relationship with self, where you know the masculine, feminine attributes of self, and you bring into conscious awareness a wholeness, holiness, and you know sacred union, marriage within the self. You come to the place where you acknowledge that I am all. I have been male, female. I have been every living form upon this planet. All of the attributes which I recognize in others are within me as well. Otherwise, I would not see them. Truly, what you are coming to know is the sacred union of wholeness, the place where you acknowledge that you are androgynous. You are both male and female. You have the attributes of the whole, and you recognize within yourself that these are coming to a place of balance in the expression of the being of you. It is called recognizing the Christ, the place of holiness, that place of divine wholeness, and allowing yourself to celebrate the sacred union of all creative abilities of self. You stand now at a place where it is beneficial that you acknowledge the wholeness and holiness of divine self which you are, so that you can then project that knowing to your world. For your world is very much in separation, in boxes and categories and labels. If you look just at appearance, there is much that separate one culture from another, brother from brother, sister from sister. As you are coming to a place of acknowledging the sacred union of all aspects within yourself, you can look with the eyes of the Christ upon the world, and you can speak words of healing which the world so much needs to know in this day and time. You have cultures that are warring against each other, cultures that are each right as they understand rightness to be. You stand at the brink of a holy war once again where, because of generational thinking, ones are going to stand up for what they have been taught has to be the right way and the right expression of cultural, societal laws. You are standing right now at the brink of the potential of another holy war, as has been called, although there is nothing truly holy about war because it is divisive. So it behooves you to claim sacred union within yourself, sacred marriage of all aspects of the self, and to be able to speak from the Christ self of you to the others who would yet see separation. To speak from a place which fosters dialogue. For truly, each culture believes in the rightness of the generational teaching. They know that they are right. It has been taught to them down through generations, therefore it must be true. As you have stood many lifetimes in your truth, and you have done battle with others who would assail, as you saw the threat, your truth. And you have done battle with them to the place of requesting that they lay down the body. Or they requested of you that you lay down the body. What was gained from that? Well, you got to turn the pages of scripting and do it again. You have come to the place now where you have said, enough already. There has to be space, holy space for dialogue. There has to be holy space where ones can meet to speak their truth in the space where they begin to have understanding of others' positions. That is the first step, recognizing the Christ of the other one, allowing space for dialogue, speaking to the necessity for dialogue. For as I have said, you stand on the brink of ones wanting to hold to their truth so strongly that they will release the body, to have to recycle, perhaps recycle back into the same culture to do it over and over again, until there are ones such as you who rise up from what would be known as the grassroots and say, I acknowledge that you understand that you are right in your position. Let us speak about it. Let us make space. You had recently one of your leaders, President Clinton, who was very good at bringing ones to the table to speak about each other. There did not come from those talks a resolution and peace, but the leader was sincere of heart and had a charisma about him which would bring together ones of different opinions so they could meet and talk. This was a start, and it needs to be continued, not to have one standing in separate camps with the embattlements and banners and flags and whatever, as you have done through the ages flying. I see you over there, and you are wrong. You must accept my truth, my package of truth as it is, but to have the openness of dialogue once again. When you are in your time of meditation, when you are in your time of doing the daily activities of washing your dishes, taking a shower, driving the vehicle, allow your mind to seek out the minds of ones who are in a position to make space for dialogue and suggest to them, for you are powerful in your suggestion. There is in truth no separation. That which you will put on the ether goes out to other ones, and it is felt. It is received. So as you will be standing in a place of allowance, in a space which allows for dialogue, and as you suggest that to the ones who are in the place of making this happen, it will be a great wave of power. Not as the world understands power, but a great wave of power which will impact what you see future events to be. Now, as we have spoken many times, that which you put out is your gift freely given. Whether it is received or not is not your responsibility. You do not have power over whether it is received or not, but you do have power to give it as a gift. So I suggest that you come from a place of acknowledging wholeness within yourself, acknowledging that you have walked in the sandals of brothers and sisters who now seem to be in far lands, different cultures, and that you can now want to come to a place of dialogue, a place where there can be speaking, not judgment, but speaking, so that there can be understanding. This applies not only to world situations that you see on a global scale, but it also applies to the workplace and to the family. Again, allowing space for ones to speak their truth, not in judgment, but to be able to speak where they are coming from, and a safe space where they will not feel that as soon as they put a sentence on, they will be jumped upon, but to have the acknowledgement that you are right in your position. It may not be as I see it, but you, I understand, are right as you see it to be. Let us speak with non-judgment. Let us dialogue. There is much power in dialogue. There is much power in dialogue within the self as well. For as you are coming to the point of accepting the sacred union of marriage within yourself, you will be doing much dialogue with the various aspects as they seem to be distinct within self, and coming to a place of peace and acceptance with some of the things that you have been taught were not acceptable perhaps. For you have all gone through a process of the molding and shaping with the parents, with the peers, with the society in which you have grown up. You have certain things that have been taught you that are good attributes and some that are not so good, and yet this is all part of humanhood, and it is time to embrace, to accept in the sacred place, all of the aspects of human experience, all of the aspects, not to judge, but to have dialogue with those aspects and to love those aspects to a place where you can have free dialogue without judgment. Not to judge when you have a certain feeling of confusion or of anger to say, I don't want to feel that, but to say, where does that feeling come from? How can I see this anew? How can I see this with holy vision? How can I come to a place of knowing sacred union within myself so that I can then project that as an example to the world? Then you come to a place where you allow space for a moment or so, or longer, where whatever you are feeling, you have a dialogue with it. Why do I feel? What does this truly come from, this feeling? What is it based in? How does it serve me? What do I want to see be the fruit of this feeling? And in non-judgment, you have the space of acknowledging, as you do when you come into a marriage with a partner, to have space to look at the various treasures of the attributes. Not to judge them, but to say, oh, I never really looked at things that way. When you are with another and then they say something that is totally off the wall, or at least you think it may be, you can say, well, I never thought about it that way. Let me think about that. Then there is opportunity for dialogue, which allows you to understand a different point of view. You have choice to incorporate into your understanding, which oftentimes does happen, because you have then expanded to a place where you do understand where they are coming from or not. But at least you have made space to acknowledge the various perspective. Each one of you comes to any subject from a different point of view, a different perspective because of past lifetimes, because of present lifetime experiences, and because of cell memory held within the body, with which you are doing improv from time to change that memory. Now oftentimes when one comes to the table, they come with the blinders on, and they can only see a limited view. They are a bit in a box, so to speak. But as there will be space for continuing dialogue, the blinders expand in opening, and you begin to be able to walk in the sandals of another one and to understand what has brought them to a place that previously you would have judged to be wrong. And you begin to see the treasures of allness. That is what these times are all about. You stand on the brink of much change, and separated ego does not like change. But the I Am ego celebrates change as expansion as treasure. Already you are seeing much which is coming to light, much that has been swept under the carpet seemingly, which has come out for the light to shine upon it, not always in such a favorable light. Yet the ones whom you would judge harshly are your servants, for they have brought those issues to your awareness. They have played their parts well, and yes, you can say that what they have chosen would not be in the most harmony and upliftment, but yet they have served the upliftment of the collective consciousness in bringing those issues right out into the open. Every day there are new issues which come to light that others would like to keep quiet, and yet the very stones cry out the truth and the evidence comes to light. Then what do you do with what is most wonderful improv? You go through a habitual process of judgment. It is a reaction, but it is habitual, and since it is a habit, it can be changed to where you have begun to wonder. How could others do what they did? What were they thinking? Why would they feel that they could do that, should do, must do, or have the freedom to do what was done? You begin in that questioning to expand your understanding of what we have talked about as the sacred union of self in understanding all aspects of the human self. Not only yourself as you see it individualized, but the human self, collective. And you begin to have a little more space to understand what is behind what is being shown to you. And at some point in time you will say with great joy, aha, it is myself who has done this, and I celebrate even that which I would have judged. I celebrate it as the expression of creativity, not creativity perhaps, that is the short-term uplifting, but creativity that is in the long term leading to the atonement. Now I speak to you here of absolute truth, which is hard to fit into the box of world understanding, of human understanding. But I speak from a place of absolute truth because you have asked to know. It does not mean that you are going to instantly be in the place of understanding and celebrating absolute truth, but it does mean that it is the catalyst that will put you forward some pages in the scripting. In other words, you can flip over some of the pages to where you come to an acknowledgement of the divine self, and you know, it is myself who has done this. It is from a place of non-judgment because you begin to understand all. Then you love self, and you claim in that moment the sacred union with all aspects of self, not in judgment, but in a place of understanding the divine creativity, the freedom of creativity, and all of the infinite variety of creativity that you bring forth even into this finite focus of Christed energy. You stand at a place now where sacred union of all aspects of self is most beneficial to the weathering of the next few years, to the blossoming and to the fruit of the next few years. This is why I spoke to you, starting with the specific example of my life and the sacred union that I knew with Mary Magdalene. How I knew human life, and I do know it. It was my contract, the same as yours. I spoke to you of how sacred union is not between male and female as the bodies, but it comes from the love that is felt, that is honored and acknowledged, and how this love does not end with the body. When the body is released, the love remains. I spoke to you of finding that sacred union within yourself, incorporating, celebrating all aspects of yourself, the male attributes and the feminine, and coming to a balance. You have much that has been spoken in previous years of the divine feminine and the celebration of the goddess. It is time now to bring all of these attributes into balance, into incorporation within the claiming and understanding of your own expression, to acknowledge as you are activating the male body. I am the goddess in expression as well, and to claim as you are activating the feminine body, I am the male aspect of the God self as well, and to bring all into harmony, into balance, into expression, and into acknowledgement, into the sacred union of the whole. And then there is a gifting of holy vision, from which you offer to the world your understanding of the acknowledgement of sacred union of all beings, so that there can be a dialogue. For truly everyone who activates the body is the divine spark of light, otherwise they would not be activating the body. Even the brothers who are most limited in their understanding of what is right or wrong are seeking at a very deep level to know their own wholeness and their relationship to wholeness. As you will be abiding in that place of sacred union within yourself, and speaking in your quiet times in the meditation to the ones who are in position to make space for dialogue, you are bringing forth healing to the world, a healing that is truly going to bring about that which has been prophesied as to be knowing of heaven upon earth, knowing equality, honor, and respect for all beings. As you have looked upon your world in these days, that is not what you see, but what you hold as a seed within your heart will come to be, because you will be nurturing it from the place of the Christ within. Hold that seed. Hold that vision. Know that truly there will be change. There will be times that appearances will seem to be contrary to what you would say would be holy, harmonious, enlightened, and yet know that everything serves the atonement. We have spoken that to you many times. Acknowledge within yourself love of self, of all parts of your being. Acknowledge love as you see the brothers and sisters. Acknowledge the mirror and the love, and you find in the mirror that they show you. Acknowledge that there is love in the world. For there is love that is crying out to be expressed, to be honored once again. And know that truly, that which you have as a seed in the heart will be nurtured by your understanding and acknowledgement of sacred marriage within self, the one self that we are. So be it.